Okay, so this week I'm going to be recording with Tom Ross's invitational or back-to-back invitational winning Infect deck. And he wrote an excellent article today, the 4th, about basically everything about the deck, summarizing every matchup. So instead of really talking about the deck and how it works in Legacy, I kind of want to go over what the difference is between the deck in Modern and the deck in this format. So if you look at the creatures, it's kind of the same main core, but we get tutors instead of the kind of mediocre auxiliary creatures that the deck typically plays. So you don't have to play a third color for Plague Stinger, and you don't have to play things like Acre Clomere or Necropede like some lists play. You can if you want, but you don't have to. So we effectively have 15 guys, and that kind of lines up with the next point, which is the cantrips in Legacy are way, way better than the ones in Modern. Specifically, Brainstorm is kind of off the charts, but that's been kind of emphasized over and over, so it's not really necessary to keep going with that line. But it like a lot like how adding a bunch of Gitaxian probes to your deck in Modern or basically any format lets you shave one of each card type if you're a deck that has like a bunch of piles like this and just kind of draw the same consistency. Brainstorm has a very similar effect in combo decks if you need to draw your kind of cheaper, free-ish pieces the kill turn. Like one of the things in Storm is that Brainstorm typically always adds mana on your kill turn because you're probably just going to draw a ritual. So in this deck, you're probably just going to draw a pump spell. You're a little lighter on pump spells than the Modern build, which is kind of scary to me going to play this for the first time. But I actually think that the Legacy list doesn't have to kill nearly as fast as the Modern list. Because Legacy is inherently a bit more of an interactive format, so you can ride something like a Pendelhaven for a bit more advantage. Berserk is clearly better than a +4, I think. Actually, I don't know if it's clearly, but I think it probably is better than a +4, and just because it's the 2-card combo kill. But you can't really play more than 2. I'm not actually sure if you want more than 1, but again, I'll trust Tom on that. I could see easily adding like 1, maybe 2 more +4s on top of the Invigorates and Vines you already have, but it's again, I'll trust his mix. So the real big difference is Force of Will, obviously. It gives you an interactive spell that doesn't cost a mana like Apostle's Blessing does. But again, it skews your deck, and as we can see here, there's less pump spells because we have to fit more blue cards in order to play Force of Will. And Force is definitely worth it, but the cards that come with it are Daze, which is great, and Spell Pierce, which is great, and Ponder and Brainstorm, so I can't really complain. I'm just saying, like, that is one of the reasons you can't play nearly as many pump spells as you can in Modern, is that you do need these in this deck 19 blue cards in order to pitch to Force. So moving on past the obvious, I guess the 8 interaction kind of respects the way the combo decks in Legacy are a bit more powerful, and you need to actually fight counter wars against them because they have things like Duress and Force to back up, instead of the Modern decks, which kind of are just slower than Infect in every way. Dark Ritual Lion's-Eye Diamond is definitely faster than this deck. So looking at the mana, we've got a bit of a crop rotation tutor base with the Wasteland. I'm not super impressed, or I understand what this is doing. So there are times where you need to clear their Wastelands to beat an Inkmoth Nexus. There are times where it's kind of a free win. But I think mostly, as Tom mentioned in his article, it's there to clear the random lands, hate lands like a Glacial Chasm or a Maze of Ith that you can't get through. Let's see. The Dryad Arbors protect against Liliana and random edicts, or to surprise ambush things like Dark Confidant. That's something that I could potentially see being less than optimal in certain metagames. Could definitely see Pendelhaven's awesome, and I could see more of that card, but you effectively have 2 anyways, so it's not a huge deal. And obviously Noble Hierarch is the best land possible in this deck, because it makes mana and it pumps your guy. Pendelhaven's a bit of an ore. So moving to the sideboard, obviously the threats in this format are different than the threats in Modern. You get better interactive spells in this format anyways. Like, you don't have to play Dismember and pay a bunch of life, so you get to play with swords. Again, I'm not really going to comment too much on his exact split of sideboard cards because Tom's article goes well more in depth to that than I ever could. But yeah, I think this deck is definitely worth looking into, at least for me, as someone who has experience with Infect in other formats. as well as a lot of combo experience in Legacy, especially Wasteland or Brainstorm combo. So I'm definitely excited to see how it plays out. Um, and I know which way my adjustments will go after the event. Just like looking at the list, I know I tend to make things more linear. And looking at Tom Ross's Infect list, he tends to do things like get the Dryad Arbor in and stuff like that. So um, my wrap up will likely include discussions of how I would change it to be more aggressive, but that might just be personal preference.